Hey all, I'm Webcamparrot, and in this video I wanted to try my best to give a full rundown of my favourite comic book villain, Dr. Doom. I'll be going over his greatest plans, his grandest inventions, and some of his more iconic moments in general. Doom is an absolute beast, and although he does get a lot of recognition from the comic book community, there is some absolutely wild stuff from him that tends to go unrecognised. Sadly, I won't be able to make this video completely comprehensive unlike my Doom Patrol or Constantine videos because of the huge number of appearances that Doom has had over the years, but I am going to go over his most relevant stuff. Doom is a master of many things, from stuff like science and strategy to sorcery and martial arts. But first, I want to go over Victor Von Doom's iconic power armor and all of the things that come with it. According to the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, his original set of armor was nuclear powered and made from titanium, which sounds impressive, but really underplays what his suit is actually capable of. There are many gadgets, sophisticated and otherwise, within this battlesuit. For one, it contains a 4-hour supply of oxygen. This isn't crazy, but can be extremely useful if Doom ever has to fight underwater or in the vacuum of space. Within the palm of the suit is a device known as an instant hypnotism impulsor, which essentially disorients and confuses the opponent. It also has a similar device that is capable of scrambling the nervous system of Doom's target, rendering them incapable of controlling their own body. A number of time control devices are contained within the suit as well. He can use these to travel through or stop time. On one occasion, he even used this to defeat Galactus by continuously travelling into the past over and over until he finally found a way to win. Although not a part of his armour, Doom was also able to create a device which he often has on his person that would allow him to step between the seconds. Anyone that isn't Doom who attempts to wear the armour will slowly be possessed and influenced, causing them to think and act like Doom, essentially becoming him. His suit was also able to reverse the polarity of Magneto's magnetic field, allowing him to use Magneto's own powers against him. It can also shoot a tranquilizing blast that was able to turn the Hulk back into Bruce Banner, and can produce electric shocks powerful enough to affect Thor, which is pretty impressive when you consider that Thor is literally a god of electricity. The armor is capable of preparing several spells for him, which I'll go over later, and has lenses that can analyze the spells unleashed by other sorcerers. A portable cloaking unit is installed within the suit, and was even capable of hiding him from the likes of Wolverine. The suit has fragments of the True Cross within it that can protect Doom from attacks of vampires or other undead creatures. He can see into the infrared due to technology within the helmet of the suit, and Doom's inhibitor array makes it impossible for others to unleash attacks directly at his person. His mask shields him from the psychic attacks of others like the Purple Man. And the suit also has tanks of sleeping gas within it that he can spray out of his fingertips, and seems to have some kind of teleportation device within it as well. Within his hands, he also has some kind of super refrigeration device that he can use to freeze people solid. The armor is also capable of adapting over time and is enchanted against demonic influence. The last, and probably most famous of his armor's gadgets, is the Power Siphon device, which allows him to drain others of their power, granting it to himself. This started out as some kind of harness, but Victor was able to advance the technology to the point where it could be installed within his armor. He has used this to drain the powers of Aaron the Watcher, and has drained Silver Surfer of the Power Cosmic several times. Like, seriously, Doom just always seems to steal Silver Surfer's power whenever he wants to. He's done it constantly, several times. He's drained the Odin Force from Thor after only being hit with a single strike, and even powerful characters like Franklin Richards and Nightmare, who was a serious threat to Eternity, have been drained dry by Doom. This particular Nightmare was actually amplified by the dreams of all beings at the time as well, making the feat even more impressive. He's drained Galactus of his powers on several occasions, and on one such occasion he was able to use Galactus's powers to perform his best feat of this kind by draining pre-retcon Beyonder of his powers. The suit itself has decent durability too, and has taken blows from some of Marvel's heaviest hitters. It survived attacks from characters like the Hulk or Thor on several occasions, and even withheld against attacks from the likes of Galactus or Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. On top of this, he can also generate force fields, both from the device within his armor and using magic. These force fields have completely negated attacks from the Thing, and allowed Doom to survive a blast from the Beyonder that was strong enough to affect Galactus. They've resisted direct attacks from Celestials, and are also said to be stronger than Susan Storm's force fields. Susan Storm has protected against attacks from Galactus herself using these shields before, and was also able to withstand the collision of two universes. Given time, he was even able to erect a barrier to protect all of Earth from Exeter, a being who was later described as the most powerful energy source in all of existence, and having power beyond that of the entire fourth celestial host. Through a combination of his armor, magic, and other various power sources, Doom is actually an incredibly capable brawler as well. He's been able to incapacitate a Spirit of Vengeance in one hit. He even directly fought and defeated a clone of Hulk that was amped by the power cosmic in close combat, and has fought and defeated regular Hulk on several other occasions as well. Even without his armor, he is a skilled and potent fighter. Doom was trained by martial arts masters in Tibet, and has studied under the greatest fencing masters on Earth, eventually surpassing them. He was able to single-handedly kill a lion whilst unarmed and unarmored, and whilst his armor was depowered, he was able to fight on par with Black Panther. He also defeated Daredevil in one-on-one combat, but it should be worth noting that Daredevil was tied from a previous fight at the time. Captain America has even explicitly gone out of his way to say that without his armor, Doom would still be a match for him. However, Doom's strongest asset seems to be his intellect and willpower. Doom is repeatedly stated to be one of the greatest minds on Earth, with his only rival or equal being Reed Richards. Doom's mind itself has been repeatedly compared to the world's most advanced computers, and whilst he was studying at college, he had to revolutionize the field of computing itself because they were simply too slow for him. He could even reprogram the likes of Ultron and extraterrestrial robots that Doom himself says are beyond the understanding of all other humans. He was able to master the secrets of vibranium, which even T'Challa and all of Wakanda failed to do. Using this, he connected himself to every fragment of vibranium in the world, reaching a power level that Doom himself said surpassed the power cosmic. He cured Ben Grimm, something that Reed Richards was never able to accomplish, and is also a proficient brain surgeon, even going so far as to separate Bruce Banner and the Hulk via brain surgery. His willpower is far more terrifying than his intellect, however. He was able to resist the psychic powers of Emma Frost, and in one of the chattiest displays in comic book history, he took off the mask that was previously shielding him from psionic powers and asked the Purple Man to give it a go, with the Purple Man then stating that his willpower was impossible for anyone to achieve. He could resist the Soul Sword's Prometheum armor by sheer force of will, and even when Doom was directly being tortured in hell, he never once gave any sign of pain. The entire planet of Battleworld is also said to be held together by Doom's will. Another classic Doom willpower moment is during his conflict with the Marquis of Death. After having his blood turned to acid, his heart turned to stone, and being sent millions of years into the past, to be torn apart by megalodons, Doom still survived to get his revenge, purely due to the force of his own willpower and hatred. He spent the millions of years he had been given by the Marquis improving himself and learning the dark arts. Doom changed every molecule in his body so that he could complete his training under the Marquis of Death, just so that he could eventually be the one to kill him. On top of all of this, Doom is also a master of magic and sorcery. He has been repeatedly stated to be one of the greatest sorcerers in the world, and was a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme after Doctor Strange stepped down from the position. He's learned the dark arts directly from Morgan Le Fay, the Marquis of Death, and Doctor Strange, arguably surpassing Strange after only studying with him for a few months. He sent Morgan Le Fay to the year 1 million BC using his magic, and can weaken the barriers between dimensions to open up portals to other realms. He can summon demonic creatures from other realms and is capable of traversing the dreams of others using his magic. He is also able to interfere with the magic of others, like when he changed the destination of Dr. Voodoo, another sorcerer's teleportation spell, and was able to incapacitate the Sentry using a spirit reversal spell. He could even subvert the psionic powers of Onslaught Red Skull using his magic, and was able to undo the effects of the Penance Stare using some kind of spell as well. Even things like direct possession can be undone by Doom's magic. On another occasion, he also banished a demon and was able to steal the mystical powers of another practitioner of the dark arts known as Saranda. He of course has access to a number of Doctor Strange's spells as well, like the Crimson Bands of Sitarak. However, his magical abilities were at their strongest after he made a deal with the Hazareth 3, granting him the magical ability he would have had he practiced magic his entire life instead of science. This granted him the skin armor and amplified all of his magical abilities. Whilst he had this power, his mere presence was repealing the laws of physics, and he was casually able to power null all of the Fantastic Four, sealing away their powers. He was able to drag Doctor Strange's astral soul back into his body, and could even cloak himself with his magic. He was able to forcibly teleport others against their will, and could transmute things such as turning fire into snow, or turning cars into monsters. Even something as severe as a broken neck healed in moments whilst he was in this powered up state. This exposure to magic and other paranormal events, combined with his own training, has allowed Doom to utilize psionic powers separate from his magic. Using these powers, he is capable of hypnotizing others, and was even capable of controlling a creature as unconventional as the Kraken, calling it child's play. He also removed the powers of the Fantastic Four in this fashion, and has access to something known as the Ovoid Mind Transfer, which allows him to swap bodies with another person as long as he can look into their eyes. Another aspect to Doom's arsenal is his ability to create and prepare specific technology for his fights. A good example of this is his Power Nullification Ray, which he used to depower Scarlet Witch and incapacitate Hawkeye, or his Time Shift Bomb, which he used against the Fantastic Four, throwing them 2 seconds into the past so that he could escape from them. He often carries a device known as a Psionic Refractor, which can reflect psionic attacks back at their target, and was able to halt the flow of time for an entire village on one occasion. He has created a device that is capable of swapping bodies between two people, and even used this to put his own disembodied mind back into his body. Another device of his, known as the Hypnocticon, can put anyone observing the rays under complete hypnosis, and he seems to have developed stealth technology for his aircraft that hides it from the sight of any eyes of man, real or mechanical. Ultron subatomic matter manipulation was created by Doom and added to his body, and is similar to the stand-alone disintegrator that Doom has used in the past. Doom also created a chainsaw capable of cutting through the Hulk, and had some kind of portable gravity device that could increase the effects of gravity dramatically, even pinning the Thing to the floor. Doom's vibration bomb threatened to wipe out patriotism the world over, destroying the personalities of everyone on Earth, and replacing it with complete loyalty to Doom. This wasn't his only insane mind hacks related invention though. He also created the Emotion Changer, which was essentially a form of mind hacks that persuaded villains to come and attack the Fantastic Four. This seems to have worked on a universal scale, as Super Skrull was affected, and even Kang the Conqueror, who was in the future at the time, came to attack the Fantastic Four. His Doombots are another obvious and ubiquitous invention of his. They are physically stronger than Doom and have access to all of his intelligence and resources. Each Doombot is entirely indistinguishable from the real Doom, even to those who can read minds, and Doom can unleash an entire army of them if he has to. Victor was also able to construct these robots to use an artificial version of the power cosmic, which he himself could not fully control otherwise. This artificial power cosmic was of course created by Doom, and with this power, these Doombots were shown to be able to fight on par with Silver Surfer himself. But by far, his greatest piece of technology is the Prime Mover. This device allows him to directly affect the story of a character or even reality itself as easily as one might move a piece on a chessboard. Doom uses this to directly interfere with the fate of beings and reality as a whole. Oh, and he made this miniature paralysis gun thing for some reason. As you should all be aware by now, Doom has been amplified by outside sources on a number of occasions. Cosmic Cube amped Doom was able to easily defeat Odin and stated that he could wipe out all of existence with a single thought, and a future Doom had the powers of Iron Fist, Starbrand, the Sorcerer Supreme, and the Spirit of Vengeance on top of his normal powers. His most iconic state, however, is as God Doom, which was something that he was able to achieve on 2 different occasions. The original God Doom achieved this state by using the powers of Galactus to drain pre-retcon Beyonder. This elevated Doom above anything else in the verse at the time, and he used this power to awaken a similar level of strength in Molecule Man. The original pre-retcon Beyonder was at least millions of times stronger than everything else in the Marvel multiverse, and this Doom should be comparable in strength to him in some way. In a What If story, we also saw this Doom take on what appears to be the entire modern celestial host, whose war was capable of shattering the first firmament itself. The second God Doom was arguably weaker than the first. He essentially had the powers of the retconned race of Beyonders. Small groups of Beyonders were shown being able to take on the Celestials and abstract beings like the Living Tribunal. Considering Doom has the powers of every Beyonder, he should be significantly more powerful than the beings they were capable of defeating individually. Whilst in this state, he can casually one-shot Thanos and was able to take on Black Panther wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. In this last section of the video, I'm just going to go over some miscellaneous stuff that didn't seem to fit anywhere else. Firstly, is Doom's understanding and ability to see into the Microverse. He was somehow able to detect and catch Captain America's shield as it left the Microverse. Loki is also scared that Doom's prowess in science and magic might give him the ability to clone the Asgardian. Also, Doom does not beg. I'd just like to end off the video with one of Victor Von Doom's best scenes. Namor at the time was attempting to combat the Incursions, events that were threatening the entire universe, and after going to others like the Fantastic Four and failing, he came to Doom. Doom told him no, telling him that he had dragged the stinking carcass of his failure to his door, and that Doom is no man's second choice. And that is why I postponed the presents video for this, because Doom never comes second. Lol. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Give me some suggestions for more videos in the comments, and otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one.
Out of your friends, which are you? Truck freak crazy ass. The Fire.